Hey guys, it's To the Hoop podcast. I'm Isaiah. This is Jake.
Yo.
Let's get it going. We waited a while. It's a good time to talk about the biggest problem plaguing the league. I think the viewership issue of the NBA is been really apparent
Mm.
this year. I think that it's been touched on a lot. Um, I think it would be great if we had some ways to improve the NBA.
Oh,
See
for
what
sure.
type of stuff we could do or bring back that would make it a little bit better.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think?
I think a really big thing that we're realizing this year is I think the NBA needs to just let the fans choose who they want to see represent in the All Star game more often, man.
Wow, yeah.
I think that after LaMelo, who led in fan voting, got snubbed from the All Star game, I think that is I don't think you can let that happen. Um, and if you want people to watch your product, you need to put a product out there that they're asking for.
Yeah. I cannot wait to touch on All Star Snubs later in this episode. I have some crazy stats that I looked up that are like they blew my mind that I was like, wow, it's crazy that these people did not become all stars.
There it is, man.
You got anything else you think would improve the league?
Um, I think maybe changing their bonus. Yeah, I don't really feel that way. Um, yeah, so I'm just not gonna say that. Yep. No, really, I
Yeah,
really
no,
feel
yeah,
because
keep
for
it
me,
genuine.
bro, I want to keep it genuine because I'm like for me personally, that's the only thing. Like I personally like watching the games. You know what I'm saying? Like I really
Yeah,
don't have too many complaints, so it's hard for me to like
yeah,
say for any to speak for anybody else. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, what do I want to see improve? And that for me is a big thing. It's like if I'm voting for my favorite player and they're winning in a category and then you don't let me see that player, it's
yeah.
like, bro, come on.
Sickening.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It is sickening. So yeah, man, that's a big thing for me. Beyond that, um I'd have to look into it. I know it's different strokes for different folks.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. But for me personally, I think you gotta let you gotta let the people make some choices.
Hmm.
Uh, and you can't override people's opinions and then expect them to continue watching your product.
That's very true.
Mm,
I took mine a little bit more objectively.
okay.
I think from my own view, I kind of agree with you. I like watching the games. I like watching kind of how it is now. I have been watching the same game, you know what I mean, my entire life. And I maybe that's just me not wanting change, but I like it. But if I'm looking objectively, if I can take myself out of it, I think, and actually with my own, even something that I would like to see, I want to see creativity back in the league.
Yeah.
I think the league itself has gotten really cut and dry. It's really black and white. Everybody kind of does the same things, man. They need to bring back the nickname jerseys. You
Fire.
remember the nickname jerseys?
Fire.
Fire, dude.
Mm,
Fire.
mm,
They need to bring back finals trophy courts.
mm.
Okay. Now the finals courts are I like some of the in season tourney courts. But it's the finals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bring back the trophy court.
Fire.
I also think MVP speeches need to make a return. Okay?
Yeah.
You remember KD's MVP speech?
Yeah, man.
He's the real MVP.
Hmm.
All right? That's iconic. That made
Iconic.
you really care about who won the
Mm.
MVP. You know, that made you really be like, man, he was really like locked into this season. I think better commercials,
Yeah.
just marketing. Do you remember me and one of my buddies reference this all the time? The LeBron James Christmas commercial where he like breaks into this family's house, starts Christmas decorating, and goes, "You want a Sprite cranberry?" That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was one of the best claymation commercials I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
The Jingle Bells commercial,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, dude. Like some of those commercials were fantastic, and they ran for years. They ran for literal years. Um, I also think the team-oriented logos kind of need to come back. A lot of the teams have kind of gone away from like their own oriented logos. Like not all of them, but some of them. Like, do you remember the Raptors' old logo? Like the Raptor. That was cool. We need to bring back more of those. I think those are cool. Last thing creativity wise is I know we just touched on the holidays, but Christmas Day jerseys. I think the Christmas Day jersey and having more jerseys in general
yeah.
make the league fun to watch.
I thought the St. Patrick's Day jerseys were even
Yes,
really
I
underrated.
remember the Bulls St. Patrick's Day jerseys. Fire. Those were fire. The white hot jerseys the Heat had in the Big Three era, those were crazy. I like some of the statement jerseys this year. Like it's cool to have an alternate jersey, but Halloween jerseys, you know what I mean? St. Patrick's Day jerseys, Christmas Day jerseys. We're playing on these days. Throw a jersey out there. It'd be cool. It's like a one-time wear, limited edition. People would watch it just to see the jersey, see the court. I think something that Adam Silver touched on this week that I kind of like the idea of 10-minute quarters. I understand how that messes up the dynamic of a lot of the records that are set and this and that. But I think now people's attention spans, the average person's attention span is not as long as it used to be. That's just a fact. I think that sometimes people watching a 48-minute game is a lot. And I think that playing 10-minute quarters is going to make one, the players will have more energy. Sorry, you're going to lessen the amount of injuries played in those hard games. You know what I mean? And plus, it just makes everything like kind of cut and dry to watch. I actually didn't know until he brought it up this week. The NBA is the only league around the world in international basketball that plays a 48-minute game.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like just get with the times. I guess get with the times. I understand. Like I said, you know, we're all nostalgic. We all love the 48-minute game. But like, if it's gonna cause more viewership, then make it 40. I think techs should be a all ref thing. I don't think there should be one ref that gets to call a tech. I noticed a lot of the BS techs, a lot of the, and you can see it sometimes where like a player will get a tech from one ref for something stupid, and they'll kind of go to another ref and go, "Hey, what is that?" And the other ref kind of goes, "I don't know." Just it should be like if everyone can unanimously be like, "Okay, that's a tech." Yeah, he threw that. They got into a fight. That's a tech. You get into an argument with a ref. If you're, jumping the ref's face, you're like up in his face yelling at him. Okay, we all can agree that's a tech. But like, if I toss the ball back to you, and you don't like the way that I toss the ball back to you, sorry, dog. Like, you just got to eat that. Let's get the game rolling.
Yeah.
So many bad technicals has been crazy.
It's been insane, bro.
I also think holding the refs accountable for all the bad calls and everything they make. And I've been saying this the past couple years. I think that they need to start fining the refs and suspending the refs for certain games. They do that in the Euro League. They do that in all other leagues across the world. They will fine refs. There have been so many bad calls. I mean, me as a Laker fan has seen. We all remember when LeBron went up for the layup. Tatum smacks his whole arm down. There's no call. We lose that game in overtime. That's tough. That's tough because that's a one game. Even if you call that foul, LeBron is always good to miss 1 or 2 free throws. I'll say that. But he makes 1 free throw, we win that game. So, like, it's crazy to me that you can not make a call, being right there in front of it, not make that call, cause a team to lose a game, and then come out with a statement after the game going, yeah, they missed that call. Sorry. Like, no, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And I feel like the ref not being held accountable for that is crazy. Like, you should be fined. You should be suspended a game. There should be something that hurts your pockets so that way you want to call the game how it should be called. I also think they should shorten the season. So I'm not really sure where to put it. Maybe 60 games. I think that would make seeding more important.
Mm,
That would lessen the risk of injury for all the players. 82 games is a lot of games. You know what I mean?
mm,
60 games is still a lot of games, but at least at that point, it's better for the players. You don't have to worry about players getting injured, and I think that would help with load management. I think that would take away a lot of load management um, issues that we're having in the league, where players are sitting for this game and this game and this game for rest, but you're not going to have to rest as much playing 20 less games. I think that the winner of the in-season tournament should get home court advantage the entire playoffs.
mm,
I thought the in-season tournament was a huge dub.
mm,
Huge dub. Adam Silver did his thing.
absolutely.
But with that being said, you kind of just got money, which is cool for players who are new to the league. I remember LeBron when we won the first in-season tournament, he said, the money doesn't really matter to me, but there are guys on our team who would love that money.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool for the rookies and the younger guys, but to get the vets and the all-stars to really get into that, give them something to look forward to. Make this mean something. Because right now I just got a useless trophy and a little bit more money. I already got money. I feel like having that make a difference in the playoffs would be crazy. Controversial one, but I think would be good. We need to cap the number of threes.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect.
Fantastic.
I think a huge reason that the NBA has declined in viewership is because of the amount of threes that we're shooting. It's just a 3-point game at a certain point. We're running down the court, three, transition, three, all the. It's like I don't want to sit here and watch a 3-point shooting contest. Because now I don't even want to watch the one in All-Star Weekend. I've seen one all season.
Yeah, real life. Yeah.
We should cap the amount of threes to like maybe 40 a game that you can shoot. Not make, but that you can take. Maybe 30 to 40 threes a game. I think it'll make the game a lot more strategic. It'll make your shooters a lot more important. You're going to have to be like, okay, let's save a three in case the end of the game we need a three to win. I think that is going to, you're going to start looking at your shooters. I think it's going to take the value of your great shooters in the league, your Klay Thompsons, your 3-and-D guys, your Taurean Princes, those type of guys. It's going to take the quality of them up because now it's like, we need you to knock down these shots. You're needed now. We're not just hoisting up threes. I think that strategically will make the game a lot better, and plus it'll help the pacing of the game. I feel like we need to make the playoffs the top 16 teams. I've been saying that for a couple of years too. Top 16 teams make the playoffs. I'm tired of teams making the playoffs in a conference just because they're weaker. Their conference is weaker. I actually have a stat for this. Okay, the Eastern Conference teams right now, spots 4 to spot 7 are separated by 4 games. Okay, not bad. 4 games, not too wide. The Western Conference teams, spot 4 and spot 7 are separated by 1.5 games. So some of these teams in the West are going to have a lot better records than the teams who make the playoffs in the East. And then they're not going to make the playoffs just because the West is a tougher conference. That's crazy. That's craziness. I feel like if they had both, we all play the same amount of games. I feel like if they went the top 16 teams, it would go, okay, you know what? This matters now because we not only have to beat our team seeding, but we have to beat the league seeding. We have to be in the top 16 in the league to get in there. That's just a good idea. Also, I think the All-Star game obviously needs a tweak.
100%.
Adam Silver is trying.
He's trying, man.
He is trying his best. But I don't know what we need to do. I really, to be very honest, and using my own just kind of thought process on it, not speaking objectively. I don't think that there's a problem with the system of the All Star game. I think that there's no pride in being an All Star anymore.
Mm.
You remember back in the All Star game when it meant something. I seen Kobe pick up LeBron full court.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
I seen crazy. You remember like when we were younger, those early 2000s All Star games where they kind of BS in the first half and lobs, dunks, but they kept it a little bit close, and then the second half, both teams locked in to win that game.
Mhm.
We need that.
Yeah,
We need that again.
100%.
That's all. And I understand not wanting to get hurt in the All Star game. I get it, but at a certain point, don't you want to prove that you're a better All Star than this guy?
Mhm.
Where's the pride in the game? Where's that competitive edge
Mhm.
anymore?
Mhm.
I think that the 3-point contest is the best all-star event right now.
Mhm.
That's the heavyweight event right now. Is the
Mhm.
3-point contest. And that is going to lose its steam because of how many threes we're seeing shot in the league.
Yeah.
The dunk contest. People just don't have any pride anymore. And I
Mhm.
honestly think that started with LeBron. I
Mhm.
do. You remember that time period where everybody was putting up money to try to get LeBron in the dunk contest,
Mhm.
and he just didn't do it.
Mhm.
Everybody else kind of took that and went, "Oh, okay. Well, if he doesn't have to do it, I don't have to do it."
Mhm.
I remember Jordan in
Mhm.
the All Star in the dunk contest.
Mhm.
Kobe wins the dunk contest. Their All Stars used to be like, "Okay, I'm one of the biggest names in the world of basketball right now. I'm doing the dunk contest."
Mhm.
What? Like that's crazy. Now we're getting G League players. No respect, no disrespect to Mac. Okay,
Mac,
they've been
yeah.
pulling that boy out like a junkyard dog for the past couple years to
Yes,
come
sir. A
win the dunk
circus act.
contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, a circus act.
Yeah, man.
There used to be all stars in the dunk contest. There used to be all stars in the all star events. We don't have that anymore, except for the 3-point contest.
Mm.
I just feel like pride in being an all star would change All Star Weekend completely.
Mhm.
They also probably should add the one-on-one competition to the All Star.
One-on-one competition would be,
The
yeah,
fans have been
man.
screaming for it.
Yeah.
The fans have been screaming for it. The Unrivaled League, the women's league, the new Unrivaled League, actually has a one-on-one tournament plan that they have going on, I believe, next weekend.
That's fire.
So we're showing that we hear you. You know what I mean? They're at least like, hey, we hear you guys want this, we're gonna do it.
Mhm.
Why won't the NBA do it? I watched the Dallas Mavericks last or earlier this year had a one-on-one competition between just their team. Kyrie Irving won. Kyrie, every pod.
You
We
know
love you,
it.
Kai.
Yes, sir.
Um, he won the competition, but it was great to watch. I watched the entire thing. It was just a 1v1 competition between everybody. They played games to I think like 5 or 7. Next man on. Why can't we do that with the All Stars?
Mhm.
As an All Star, wouldn't you want to see a LeBron versus KD?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want to see those certain matchups in that game? I just feel like that would make because I feel like All Star Weekend's viewership has probably tanked worse than just the overall NBA viewership.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, man. Those are just a couple things that I had that I felt would help the league. What do you think about those? Did anything catch your eye or your ear?
Um, yeah, man. I really was thinking the one-on-one tournament. That's actually something I just thought about the other day. One-on-one tournament, I think, is a phenomenal idea, and yeah, fans have been. I feel like fans have been clamoring for that for quite some
Couple
time,
years
a
now.
couple years now, and I don't know if it's a thing about players being scared or ducking
I think so. I
competition.
think
I
they're
think they're
scared.
ducking
Hmm.
competition, bro. But I think it would be fun, man. I think it'd be fun. I think if players could put their pride aside and be like, "Nah, man, I'm not trying to do that," and just be like, "Let's go out there and just hoop." You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
just at the end of the day, it's not a chip. It's not for a chip. You
Yeah.
know, it's not for a championship. There's really nothing but pride
Hmm.
involved in this. And if you can put your pride aside and just have fun for the sake of for the fans' sake and just for your sake, even just go out there and just play. You know, like
If
yeah,
they did
man.
it, who are your top three that you would take in the 1v1?
A Kyrie,
Hmm.
Kyrie, you know it every pod. Kyrie one on one is almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
Um, Luca one on one, he's gonna do what he wants to do.
Hmm.
Um, I even think Jokic, man.
Jokic in a
Listen,
one-on-one
Jokic on a
competition?
one-on-one competition could still do his thing. All those guys, man. I would love to see a one-on-one tourney. I think that'd be phenomenal.
I think I would go Kyrie, Kevin Durant,
Kevin KD, yes sir.
SGA would be my top 3. I
SGA,
feel like those
100%.
3 players are a terror
Yes.
to guard.
And yeah, man, I also like the home court advantage for the in-season tournament because the in-season tournament this year, I agree, it was a huge victory for the league. I think it was the games are great to watch this year. But yeah, I do think that if you give the veteran players something to play for, um, I think that'll make them lock in even more.
Yep.
It's going to be a more competitive thing because now it's like now we're playing for the postseason.
Yeah.
We're playing for postseason advantage. We got to lock in.
This means something to me.
Yeah. So I love that idea. Yeah. This is a game called Higher or Lower. So I have for you 5 prompts.
Okay.
And you got to tell me if this number is higher or lower.
Okay.
So the first one I have for you here is games played by Joel Embiid over his entire career.
Okay.
Is it higher or lower than 520?
It is lower.
It is lower.
Yes.
It is 446.
I seen that stat.
Yeah, and he has missed 400 games. 400 NBA games. He's almost missed as many games as he's played.
Yeah.
That's a crazy stat.
Single-handedly killing my fantasy team.
That is a crazy stat. The next one I have here for you is Mikal Bridges has played consecutive NBA games of higher or lower than 450.
Oh, I know he's played a lot. Higher.
Higher
Let's
is
go.
correct. He has played 522 consecutive NBA games.
Man.
Iron Man. Iron Man.
Tom Thibodeau loves having that man in the league.
Absolutely. The next one I have here is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is shooting higher or lower than 50% from field goal percentage this season.
Higher.
He is shooting higher. He is shooting 52.8%. Almost 53% from the field on 32.5 points per game.
SGA. I think he's in 50-40-90 right now.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Insane efficiency. Yeah. Insane. The next one I have here is Cade Cunningham is ranked higher or lower than 55 on ESPN's top 100 list.
Man, they don't give respect to Cade, man. Lower.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Cade is rated at 67.
That's
and
crazy.
The disrespect is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cade's a real deal.
Yes, sir. And the next one I have here is Josh Hart is averaging higher or lower than 8 rebounds per game this season.
Josh Hart gets a lot of boards. I think Josh Hart is higher. I'm saying he's got 9.
He's higher.
Yeah?
Josh Hart is averaging almost 10 boards a game.
Oh
9.7, which is 18th in the NBA.
Woo.
At 6'4".
Josh Hart, man.
Shout out Josh Hart, man.
5 for 5. 5 for 5. I'm here.
Sir.
Okay. I have some higher or lower questions for you.
Okay.
I will ask you this question, and you'll tell me if the number is higher and or lower.
Okay.
The record for the most 3-pointers made in a single NBA game is 16.
Higher.
Right. It is lower.
It is lower.
14.
14 in a game. Okay.
The Knicks had 26 wins in the 19 to 20 NBA season. As a Knicks fan, what you thinking?
You said 26 wins?
26 wins.
Lower.
Lower. They had 21 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are rough times, man. Those are some real dark times.
The dark ages. The dark ages of the Knicks.
Yes, sir.
The Boston Celtics are shooting 30% from 3 this year.
Boston Celtics?
Yep.
Higher.
Higher is right, 36.5.
Nice. Yeah, man, they've been going crazy.
Derek Fisher, D-Fish, has 3 NBA championships.
Ooh. D-Fish, man. Higher?
Higher is right.
Yeah.
He's got 5.
Yes, sir.
D-Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie Irving the love of
Kyrie.
the pod,
Yes, sir. Shout out Kyrie.
is a career 91% from free throw.
I wouldn't doubt that. I'm gonna say lower though.
He is lower. He is 88.6.
That's crazy. I wouldn't doubt you though,
Mhm.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
91. I wouldn't doubt you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. First thing I got on the recap, Vince Carter got his Nets jersey retired. What a year for Vince Carter so far, dog.
Yeah, man. VC, great player, tremendous talent, tremendous dunker. Shout out to him for getting his jersey retired. He definitely deserves it. Played until he was like 42.
Yeah.
Finished out his career as a shooter. Lost a lot of his athleticism, but man, was he an incredible talent, bro.
Yeah, I mean, 2 jersey retirements this year.
Yeah.
Raptors and Nets. VC.
Yes, sir.
VC. He
Shout out
deserves it
VC.
though. Yeah, he does. I love Vince Carter.
Me too, man.
Vince Carter, I'm gonna say hot take that shouldn't be as hot of a take. Vince Carter has the single best dunk I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
He jumped over a man in the Olympics.
Yes.
In game.
In game. That's crazy, bro.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah, one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Amin Thompson had a triple-double against the Cavs, 23, 14, and 10. Amin Thompson from the Rockets has been out of this world in the past month.
Mm-hmm.
He has been playing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a chance to catch any Rockets games?
I have not. I've seen highlights here and there, and I think that he's very underrated. Outside of, I don't think it's fair to him because I feel like he's been that scuffle with Tyler Hero kind of gave him some bad cred there. But bro is a hooper for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hoopers, don't really like to put him in this conversation, but Dylan Brooks, 10 threes versus the Celtics.
Yeah, man.
Game of his life.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks. Don't know if I'm a huge fan of the theatrics with Dylan Brooks. I think he does a little bit too much talking, especially for his stature. He's not quite there. Ant Edwards is one of the best trash talkers in this league, and rightfully so.
Yep, backs it up.
He backs it up. Dylan Brooks, you're not there yet.
A quiet Dylan Brooks is a good Dylan Brooks.
I agree. Quiet Dylan Brooks, phenomenal. He did his thing against the Celtics. So I got to give credit to where it's due.
Speaking of threes, Klay Thompson, 7 threes in the first quarter against the Wizards. The Wizards also on I think a 14-game losing streak or something. I mean, it's
it's rough.
They're having rough times. But Klay needed that.
Yeah.
I think he needed that to have a good He hasn't been shooting terribly.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't, but he has had some games where he's been kind of off, or some games he's on. 7 threes in the first quarter.
It's crazy, bro. That's vintage Klay.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
vintage Klay.
Vintage.
LaMelo Ball goes out against the Lakers.
Yeah, man, you hate to see it.
Yeah, I think he'll be back soon. I don't think his injury was too extensive, but it's rough.
Yeah. Just what LaMelo has been dealing with all season with his injuries is just unfortunate. And I think maybe that contributed to what the league decided ultimately. He would not be in the All-Star game.
I don't know if it did.
I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking because LaMelo's been doing his thing when he plays. But yeah, shout out LaMelo. Hope you get healthy, bro.
Also in that game, Anthony Davis, 42 points, 23 rebounds.
Yeah, man.
Great, phenomenal game. But I love AD, but we also are playing the Hornets. So I don't know who was supposed to guard AD on the Hornets.
Right.
But dropping 42 points and 23 boards on Grant Williams is always a fun thing to do.
Shout out AD, yes sir.
Speaking of AD shout outs, he's got a new show coming out.
Yeah.
It's like a prank show. He says it's supposed to be more of an Impractical Jokers ideal of a show, but with his NBA friends, and he's got different celebrities kind of being there, and he'll be pranking them. I'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it. I'm
Mhm.
always a fan of NBA content, so I'll see how that goes. AD did also go out in the very next game, first quarter. Yeah, you know what though? AD has got a rep for being injury prone,
Mhm.
but the past 2 years he has been
He's been
on the
doing his
court.
thing, man. Yeah.
He's been on the court. He's been on the court this year. He's been dealing with whatever. I am taking away AD's injury prone tag.
Okay, I agree, and I agree with that. My thing that I do want to ask you, my good sir, is that you've been a Lakers fan, a dedicated Lakers fan for quite some time, and you know the Kobe mentality about players need to play and you know toughness.
Hmm.
Do you think that with AD starting this show, that this is going to
Oh wow.
become an availability issue?
I don't think so. I hope that he's doing all of his filming and things in the off season, right? Like
Right. I
I
would hope
hope so.
so. Yeah.
I hope that if it does have anything to do with the regular season or like during the course of the season, I hope it's like little pranks here and there during the season.
Mm,
But I hope that it's not like, ooh, AD took a game off for personal reasons and it's
yeah.
him shooting a prank on someone. Like that would piss me off severely.
Hmm.
Um, Warriors announced that Iggy's getting his jersey retired.
Shout out Iggy, man. Andre
Yeah,
Iguodala. Prime Iguodala was one of my favorite players to watch.
yeah.
Sixers Iguodala, athletic, great defender. Wasn't always a great shooter, but once he went to Golden State, he had to become
Hmm.
one. Former Finals MVP.
Yep, I'll say stop LeBron in the finals.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
What
Shout
a
out
guy.
Iggy. Yeah, he's well deserving of that.
Yeah. Jalen Johnson for the Hawks is out for the season with the shoulder injury. Looks
Yeah.
like he'll be having shoulder surgery, I think, later this week.
Mm,
And he will be out for the remainder of the season.
that's tough.
Tough blow for the Hawks.
Mm,
Um, the Hawks are in kind of a weird state
they are.
this year, man. I don't know
It.
what's been going on with them. It seems like they have a good young core though.
Yeah,
It does seem like they have a good young core,
for
but
sure.
I don't know if Trae Young and Clint Capella. I think they obviously are the faces.
Hmm.
But with the young core that they're trying to develop, I don't know if like the old core of Trae Young, Capella, and Bogdanovich really need to stay there.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say it seems like they're kind of in like a limbo situation where they're trying to figure out are we going with what has worked or are we going with a potential future?
Yeah,
And it's like we're either between a rebuild, we're stuck between a rebuild or possible contention because Trey Young is going to always keep you
yeah,
somewhat close,
yep.
right? So I think that they need to pick a direction. And yeah, man, if I'm the Hawks, I think you gotta. I personally feel like you gotta tear it down. I think Jalen
Mm,
Johnson is once he gets healthy, he's serious, man.
yeah.
He's for real.
I
That's a
think it's
big
time.
loss for them for the rest of the season. Um, Risa Shea has shown some flashes. Had 30 the other night.
Yeah, he's a weird rookie. I feel like this entire rookie class
Has been
has
kind of
been
yeah.
really odd. It
Mhm.
seems like a lot of them are showing some flashes. Amin Thompson on his run right now.
Mhm.
Connect on his runs.
Mhm.
Jared McCain before he went
Went
out.
down- Yeah.
You got the what's the guy's name from the Heat?
Oh, where
Big
Khalil
man,
Ware?
yeah.
Yep.
He's going crazy right
Mhm.
now. You got you everyone's kind of showing their flashes. Edie's had a couple decent games. Donovan Clingan's had a couple okay games. But Ricochet is kind of in the same boat to me.
Mhm.
He kind of does nothing in some games, and then some games it's a 30-point game.
Mhm.
Some games he has 18, and then some games he has 4.
Yeah.
I just I don't know if they're just not adjusting yet to game speed
Mhm.
or what it is, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and just real quickly to finish on the topic of the Hawks, I think that DeAndre Hunter
Hmm.
is a very underrated player, and I think that with him possibly taking some of Jalen Johnson's minutes, he's going to show what he's capable of.
Yeah,
Um, and Dyson Daniels,
Dyson
Dyson
Daniels,
Daniels has been going crazy. That was
good
an
young core.
unexpected. Yeah, that was a very good young core that they got in Atlanta
Hmm.
right now. So yeah, man.
Speaking of teams with young cores, the Thunder
Thunder.
SGA had 52 the other night. in a loss, but 52.
52 is 52, man.
He's
Yeah.
been on a tear.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring something up to you, but I'm glad I got to wait to do it on camera.
hmm
Where are you in the SGA versus Jokic MVP debate?
Listen, man. I've always growing up, it was always the award typically goes to the person who impacts winning the most. And if we're basing the award off of that, I personally am giving the award to SGA.
Okay.
They're the first seed in the West, a crowded Western Conference, a very competitive Western Conference, and it's tough, man, because like you got to give Jokic his respect.
Because they're 4.
They're 4,
Yeah.
yeah, they're 4, and not to mention he's putting up 2K numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is a walking video game, and he just can do whatever he wants on the court. And so it's like I feel like your preference about how the award is awarded is are you going with winning, or are you going with numbers? Are you going with it? There's so many different things to look at being the number 1 seeded team in the West, uh, scoring 32 points per game on insane efficiency, 50, 40, 90. And uh, I think just giving a new look to the MVP award this year because Jokic has won so many, and this would be SGA's first. I personally am going to give SGA the nod on that.
I also stand with SGA for pretty much those same reasons. I don't really care too much about giving the MVP award a new look. I think if you're the MVP of the league, you're the MVP of the league.
Yeah, sure.
I don't really like watching Nikola Jokic play.
Mhm.
He does make a couple insane plays every now and then. I know you saw that pass from the other
Oh
night.
yeah.
But I like the guard play, and I like SGA. I love the way SGA plays the game. He plays like that perfect, like mid-pace, smooth game, but also he is the driving force of that team. He is all the time going, okay, he's the most. He's a really quiet guy on court, but from what I've seen in a lot of the interviews and talks with the other teammates, he's a real vocal guy in practice and in the locker room. So like, he's not just the best player on the court; he's a leader.
By example, yes, sir.
And I think that is the most important thing. And not saying Jokic is not a leader,
Right.
but when SGA is number 1, when the Thunder are number 1 right now, that is what I think breaks the tie for me. I think if the Thunder were number 3 and the Nuggets were number 4, then it becomes a different conversation. But I think the 1 seed makes him
being the best player on the best team in the West. Gives him the nod for me.
Yeah. Scary Terry is under some gambling investigation. I guess that they're looking at the way people have been betting on Terry's unders and the way he has been playing this season. So my thought process is either if I'm Terry Rozier, this has to be a gambling. This has to be. Because if this is not, this means you are playing so bad that they actually think you're tanking. They think you're tanking games.
Like Scary Terry, he lost his nickname, bro.
Yeah.
He ain't even scary no more, and that's just Terry. So yeah, bro.
That's just Terry.
That's just Terry, bro. So hopefully that's just a gambling situation. Cause yeah, that fall off has been insane. But I do know that some guys just show out in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I do know that
Yes,
certain
that's
players
true.
go to Charlotte and turn up, and then they go elsewhere, and it's just like, So I think that's a wait and see situation that's developing currently.
Adam Silver. I know I just have brought this up in my own ways to fix the league, and apparently this commissioner likes the idea. No, I got it from him. He mentioned maybe taking the teams to 10-minute quarters. Like I said, the NBA is the only league in the world that plays the 48-minute quarters. Or 48-minute game, sorry. What do you think about that? I saw a couple coaches, Tom Thibodeau being one, who were at Tom Thibodeau, and I think what's the Nuggets coach? Is that Mike Brown?
Mike Malone.
Mike Malone.
Yes,
Malone. both came out saying that they were not big fans of the idea and that they hope that they do not move to 10-minute quarters. What do you think?
Listen here, Tibbs. Uh, Tom Thibodeau would like 50-minute plus. You know what I'm saying?
Jalen Brunson will play all of them.
Tom Thibodeau would play 60-minute games. Okay. Tom Thibodeau needs to relax. I think that coach alone, me as a Knicks fan saying this, I think that coach's perspective on this alone, him not liking it, makes me believe wholeheartedly that we need to go through with it. Okay, this man, Derrick Rose. Okay,
Yeah.
this man played Derrick Rose in a game where he did not need to be playing him any longer, and he tore his ACL. And that was the start of a consistent cycle of injuries. The fall of Derrick Rose, okay? I'm not going to pin it 100% on Tibbs because, I mean, Derrick Rose had said that he needed to work on the way he landed and he needed to prepare his body more. But, I mean,
I'm sure playing that many minutes a game didn't really help out the situation.
That didn't help the situation at all. So, I mean, and then if you even look at last year with the Knicks, how many players got injured in the playoffs? I mean, or close to the playoffs. We lost Julius. We lost Josh Hart in the playoffs. We lost
Josh Hart, who was playing 40 minutes a game.
40 minutes a game, okay? OG came to us in that trade with elbow issues already, but we lost him in the playoffs. So, yeah, man, it's just I feel as though that maybe it is for the best that minutes get cut for the sake of injuries, for the sake of viewership. It's seeming more and more like it's a good thing. And that Tibbs comment might have done it for me. That might be the nail in the coffin.
I think that, like I said in the other segment, man, I feel like it's good for the league. I think people's attention spans are shorter, and I get cutting every corner by 2 minutes isn't really doing anything crazy. But with shorter attention spans of the general public, giving them something shorter to watch is cool. It's the league. It's made to change. I think it will be fine. I think
change is inevitable.
Yeah, I think and sometimes it might just be the right thing to do. It might just be time to do it, man. Isaiah Thomas came back to the G League with the 40 ball, man.
Yeah, man.
40 points. He said he's trying to get his comeback going again.
Yeah,
What do you think? You think he's gonna make it back into the league?
Dude, I hope Isaiah Thomas gets another shot in the league. I remember watching him in Boston go off. I don't think he got a fully fair shake there. His one season where he really just broke out and showed everybody like IT is here, man. He's here. And then unfortunately traded him away for Kyrie. Understandable. However, it's tough. It's the unfortunate aspect.
Business part.
It's the unfortunate business part of the NBA, and I think after that, I think he might have taken that a little personal. You know what I mean? Because it was like, dang, I just did all that, and now you ship me off to play with LeBron, where I'm gonna get outshined and this and that. Maybe I heard that behind the scenes there was a little bit of headbutting between LeBron and IT. So
I mean, he got injured on the Celtics.
He got injured, yeah.
He gave them like everything he had.
Yeah.
He injured himself on the Celtics, trying to make them win, and then they just shipped them off.
Yeah. So I understand it, man. I understand it's a cold-blooded business out there, but I hope you make it back, bro.
Jimmy Butler is now suspended indefinitely. It seems like Jimmy is going to stay on our podcast.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Butler getting suspended indefinitely. Is this the right move, or is Pat Riley just being petty?
I honestly think that I think this is the right move. I think you gotta. I think at this point with Jimmy, you gotta just you gotta take your loss. He clearly doesn't want to be with the team. There's no point in playing a player. There's no point in playing a player whose heart isn't there with you. Yeah. And if he's not dedicated to winning, he's not dedicated to the team. He's not showing up for practices. He's missing team flights. There's no point in trying to make something work there that's not working. I think suspending him for just the benefit of the rest of the team. Sometimes it's addition by subtraction, and I think that is exactly what Pat Riley's doing here.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I feel like Jimmy is in a weird space because I mean you still got to pay him. He's still getting paid. So
Mhm.
that's cool. But I think it is. Is it? I guess for me, I always have to ask myself: is it more of a distraction to suspend him, or is it more of a distraction to just have him there and just not fucking play him?
Fair.
You could just not play him. You could just put him in the. You can put him in the game, and you know what I mean. Give him a couple minutes here or there. But like he's not gonna give his all. That's been shown. We all know that. We all understand that.
Mm.
I just feel like suspending him brought more attention to it again, and we're talking about it again, and it becomes more of a. It's no longer about the Heat's team. It's about Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of people not feeling appreciated, Paul George
Yeah.
went out talking about him not getting tribute videos from the Pacers. Uh, what do you think, man? I kind of like. I feel like it's a weird situation. I understand where he's coming
Mm.
from like the first season he left,
Mhm.
maybe the first two, because Pacers Paul George was something else.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
breakout Paul George.
100%.
That's where
Yeah.
he became
100%.
Paul George,
Yep. One of my
and he
favorite players
had
to watch. Yeah.
some of the most iconic moments on the Pacers.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, you've been gone for years, man. You've been
Yeah.
gone for absolute years.
Years.
Does
Yeah.
it still bother you? It still bothers you that much?
Yeah, man.
I don't even know if anyone from that team is still playing on that team. I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, like
No.
does it bother you, man? It's that deep.
Yeah, bro.
Didn't get a tribute video.
I mean, I think just the PG whining this year, the PG whining in general this year has been a bit sickening to me.
Yes.
Saying that you're bored, playing with a team that you just got traded to, uh, yeah, I think the whining it needs to stop, and I don't know. To me, you're just losing credibility as a former All Star player
Hmm. I
by
mean,
doing all that.
he's
Yeah.
sitting right now because I think he has like a sprained finger, something like
Mm,
that. It's like, what are you doing? I know we talked about like the 2000s mentality a little bit earlier on the pod. Like, get up and play.
exactly.
Get up and play.
Yeah, that man
He's been
is.
having an awful year this year. He's
Yeah,
been playing like garbage. He's in and out of the lineup all season.
yeah, man.
Yeah, like you're spending more time podcasting and complaining than you actually have spent on the court this season, and that I think is crazy.
Yeah, man. It's insane. He went from playoff P to podcast P, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah, that man needs to stop whining.
uh, Speaking of people being out, man, DeJounte Murray just went out last night off a non-contact injury,
Mm,
torn Achilles. He's out for the season.
it's tough,
That's
bro.
tough. I hate to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, man. The Pelicans have been struggling with injuries all year.
Man.
Ingram, Zion, Herb Jones,
Hmm.
and now DeJounte. It's just, yeah. They couldn't have worse luck this year. Truly, bro. It's been bad.
Sticking with the Pelicans, Zion came out saying that he's not playing back to backs because the Pelicans told him he shouldn't, and he works for the Pelicans.
Man,
What's going on with all these soft players in the
that's what
league,
I'm
man?
saying, bro. Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, people can't. I don't care how professional these medical officials are, they can't tell you what to do with your body at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I think sure there's that a business aspect, right? You work for
Mhm.
this team, but I think that with you being one of the faces, if not the face of this franchise,
Mhm.
because you can make the Brandon Ingram argument, whatever. With you being the face of the franchise, they are not going to. If you say you want to play and you can play, they're probably not going to push back.
Yeah. He said he can be there physically, but they don't want him to play, so he is not playing. I thought that was an insane statement to make.
I agree. I agree because for me, it's like if I am an organization who's paying max money to my star player,
Mhm.
and they tell me that even though they got hurt, they feel good enough to play, I'm gonna trust them.
Yep.
As long as to me, it seems like he doesn't trust his body to play because if he did, he would tell them outright, like, "Hey, man, I can play.
Mhm.
So I don't
Yeah.
know, man. I don't know if I'm fully trusting what Zion has to say, bro.
Yeah, you think it's more of him?
I think it's more of him. I
Okay.
do, and I think he's using the organization as a scapegoat.
I can see that. I think he's been worried about a lot of other things that are not basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally came back and then went back out and came back. I do also the one reason that I can say it might be the Pelicans are tanking, man. The Pelicans are
Yeah,
tanking this year.
yeah,
We all know they're the most obvious tank I've
yeah,
seen in a long time.
yep,
They suspended him when he came back for he was late to the team play. I don't even think he missed it.
yeah.
Suspended him. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Why are we doing this? Like, I understand if you want to. They're just trying to get Cooper Flag, man. Which, like,
Yeah.
I mean, they have a good young core that if they stayed healthy, they would have a good young core.
Mm-hmm.
They would have a great young core. But the problem is everybody on that team is made of paper.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have 10 true or false questions for you.
Okay.
Let's test your NBA knowledge. Steph Curry holds the record for the most three-pointers in a game at 14.
I'm gonna say false.
Okay. False is correct. Why do you
Oh,
think it's
okay.
false?
Wow. I think it's false. Last I had known, it was Kobe with 12, and
It is
and it's been broken since then. I know that, but I don't think it was by Curry.
it is Klay
It was Klay
Thompson who
Thompson,
holds the record with 14.
14.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jamal Crawford has played for 6 teams in his NBA career. Jay Crossover, man.
Okay. You said 16.
6 teams.
6 teams in his career. True.
False, it's 9.
Wow. 9? 9
9.
is crazy.
9.
Yeah.
He also holds a weird record for being the only player to score 50 points on 4 different teams.
Wow.
He's done it 4 different times in a season. He's also the oldest player to score 50 points in a game.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's
Jamal
real
Crawford.
crazy.
Jay
Jamal Crawford.
Crossover.
Yeah.
I think he could have kept playing.
I think so too, man. Yeah.
Kobe holds the Lakers record for the highest scoring game.
False. Will.
Bro, Kobe. Wilt was on the Sixers when he scored 100 points.
Oh, was he really?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, he was. Or maybe they weren't the Sixers at that time. I think they were Philadelphia's team, but
Okay.
they were not Sixers.
Gotcha.
Steve Nash has 1 MVP.
False.
False, it is 2. Steve. Skylar Diggins Smith has won 2 WNBA titles.
True.
That is also false. It is 0.
False.
It's not
Wow.
1-1. Yeah, I know.
I need
You
to
would think
watch
with
more WNBA.
you
Yeah.
would think with Skylar Diggins, man. You
Mhm.
think her name, her skill set, you would think she's got one. But yeah.
Mhm.
Number 6, Ja Morant went to Murray State University.
True.
That is true. Sensation. Murray State sensation, Ja
Mhm.
Morant. 7, James Harden is 9-0 in his career against Trae Young.
True.
That is true. Trae Young has never beat James Harden.
Wow.
Yeah, insane.
That is insane.
Question number 8. Let's take it back a little bit. Some OG Mavericks players. JJ Barea,
Wow.
Raymond Felton,
Wow.
Darren Williams. They all share a birthday.
True.
That is true.
Wow.
Can you guess the date?
August 5th.
It is June 26th,
Okay.
1984.
Wow.
They
That's
share the
crazy.
exact same birthday.
Wow. That's crazy. That is a crazy stat.
Number 9, Steven Adams is from Australia.
True.
That is false. He is from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yes.
That's right.
I thought it was
I knew the
Australia.
accent.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Number 10, De'Aaron Fox went to Kansas.
False.
That is false. He went to Kentucky, a Wildcat.
Sir.
De'Aaron Fox.
Sir. De'Aaron Fox is a hooper, bro.
I know.
Mm.
We'll be talking about him later on the pod.
Oh yeah.
We got to talk about the All-Star reserves got announced, and there were some crazy snubs.
Yeah, man.
I got a couple stats for you, and a couple players I am curious to hear from you
Okay.
about. Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young got snubbed from the team. He actually posted by himself. It's not even called getting snubbed anymore. It's called getting trade because this happens to him all the time.
Yeah, man.
Trae Young leads the league in assists per game.
Mhm.
He leads the league in assist point double doubles. He's the first player to average 20 points and 10 assists and not get selected to the All-Star game in multiple seasons. Getting trade.
Yeah, man.
How do you feel about Ice Trey not being on the team?
You know, personal feelings aside, because I am a Knicks fan, and you know how we feel about Trae Young. Yeah, that's an insane disrespect right there. I think that not even like a reserve with
Yes.
those kinds of numbers, not even a
Yes.
reserve is
Crazy.
crazy. Um, so yeah, man, I think Trey has every right to feel disrespected by it, and hopefully the league starts to get it right with some of these calls because right
Yeah.
now it's not looking
Wild.
good, man. It's
That's
wild.
wild, man.
Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball at the ending of the All-Star voting led the East backcourt in fan vote
Mhm.
completely.
Yeah.
Led the East whole backcourt in fan vote, did not get selected to a reserve. And see, this is what I was saying on our last episode. You want to watch the last episode and hear me say this? Click the link below. Where I was saying him getting the highest fan vote in that backcourt and then not getting selected as a starter was really tough. And that now puts him in a position to not be selected to as a reserve because you got all these other guys in the league who
Mm-hmm.
would got selected as an as a reserve. One of the guys I thought was going to be Trae Young, but
Mm-hmm.
that also obviously didn't happen. Uh, LaMelo Ball averages more points, more rebounds, more assists than every single East reserve.
I don't even know if there's anything that I can say about
How
that.
is he not a
That
reserve?
yeah, that there's no words that
How is he not a
yeah.
reserve?
Yeah, there's no words
That's crazy.
there's no words to describe how insane that disrespect is, man.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is absolutely insane.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like, I again, it's a part of viewership. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's a part of the viewership thing. You have all of these fans of LaMelo Ball
Yeah.
who voted
Voted
for
for this
LaMelo
man.
Ball.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't put him in.
Yep.
Okay, you don't put him as a starter, whatever. We'll still get to see him as a reserve. So, the reserves are voted separately. That's a whole separate thing. You're telling me everybody, all the coaches, everyone who put in for the reserves, looked at someone who averages the most in all three statistical categories and said, yeah, no. That's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
That's absolutely insane for him
Mhm.
to not be a reserve.
Do you think it's something to do with the politics aspect of the NBA? So like there are certain players where they get interviewed or they get behind a mic and they have media training or like they speak to people in like a kind of way. Have you ever seen LaMelo's interviews where he's just kind of like, yeah, there's a
That's
media
true.
and like sometimes he like, he'll blurt out stuff that doesn't need to be said on national TV and so do you think like that's an aspect to it? Because
Um,
it can't just be.
that's true, but like Anthony Edwards does the same thing.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
Anthony
true.
Edwards does the same thing in bigger moments.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know. I literally have no idea why they did not
because it
start
just
him.
seems inexcusable to me.
Yeah, they did. I don't know why they didn't start him. Donovan Mitchell's a starter.
Yeah, man. You see,
Okay, I like Donovan Mitchell, but
yeah,
come on.
exactly. What are we doing?
And if he's not going to be a starter, to not put him on the reserve team it's crazy. And I know that there are a lot of LaMelo Ball fans. I know a lot of hardcore LaMelo Ball fans. He's really big with the younger generation.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, he's not on the All-Star team. I'm not watching the game."
Yeah,
You just lost viewership by not putting specifically who someone wanted in the game.
exactly.
I just don't understand the logic behind it.
Yeah,
Couple more. The Kings, man. De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis. Neither one of them is in the All-Star game.
yeah, man.
two guys who have been playing out of
Out of
their
their
mind.
minds, dude.
Sabonis got snubbed last year too. He got 2 back-to-back years just getting absolutely snubbed, and there's no reason behind it.
Mhm.
Those guys both should be all-stars.
100%. Yeah, man.
Jalen Williams made the reserves. I like Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Mhm.
He's probably the second best player on OKC.
Mhm.
Is he better than De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, man.
Is he better than Sabonis?
Yeah.
No, he's not. He
Right.
shouldn't be. He should not be. I think the thing with the roster spots is a good idea. I like that concept.
Mhm.
But I think it all comes back to having pride in being an all-star. Because imagine if the all-star game was as prideful as it used to be, and this happened. Like right now, players are upset. I
Mhm.
get it. Players are upset. Some of the fans are upset, but they're kind of like, they'll get over it. Back then, they used to take that personal. They
Mhm.
used to take that absolutely personal. What? I'm not an all-star.
Mhm.
And then they would go off and go
Watch
crazy.
this. Yeah.
Or when the starters got announced, you would have the Trae Youngs who go, "Wow, I'm not a starter," and then go off for 50 points.
Mhm.
And be like, "Okay, well, you better put me on the team."
Yeah, man.
I just feel like it's not the same thing anymore as far as the pride for it. So I think that's maybe why some of these guys are constantly getting snubbed.
Mhm.
Like Trae Youngs, the Sabonises, the De'Aaron Foxes, they're not coming out with a vengeance after getting snubbed. They're going, "Yeah, I got snubbed," and they're upset, so they talk about it on social media. Say it with your game.
Mhm.
Say it with your game. I want you to go out there and give me a 50, 60-point night to let them know, yeah, you didn't pick me as an all-star, so here's this.
Mhm.
Um, Devin Booker and Kyrie Irving are also not all-stars. Kyrie Irving with Luka out. Luka has been out, and Kyrie Irving has been single-handedly driving that team. Kyrie Irving has been playing insane, and I know that this, with all the Kyrie love that we give on this podcast, might seem a little biased, but numbers-wise, Kyrie is playing out of his mind.
Mhm.
How is this man not an all-star? That one I think I can attribute to the politics.
Yeah.
I think Kyrie has a really bad politics rep as far as being a bit of a diva and some of the kind of outlandish things he will say from time to time.
Mhm.
But I mean, look at his game. You know what I mean? Look at his game. How is this guy not in the All-Star game? Devin Booker. How are these guys not in the All-Star game?
Mhm.
Over Jalen Williams?
Listen, J-Dub, I love J-Dub, bro. I think Jalen Williams is a very good player. I'll come up to bat for Jalen Williams because I watched this dude. Okay, I watched this dude, and he's one of those players where he puts up a shot and it just feels like he cannot miss. Okay, so from my personal perspective of watching Jalen Williams, okay, I I vouch for him for being an all-star. Do I again, this comes back to do I think that he is above other players? No.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think he's above other players. Do I think that am I okay at the end of the day with him winning or with him being selected? I am okay with him being selected because he is a very good player. Um, so if we're doing comparisons, 100%, there are guys who
Who are
who
better?
are better,
Yeah.
right? There are guys who are better. Um, However, I'm gonna give respect to where it's due because I do think that Jalen
Okay.
Williams, I think he does his thing,
He
bro.
deserves his
I think he
respect. I think
deserves his respect.
I
Yeah,
just think he deserves his respect, and I think he's an all-star caliber player.
that's fair.
I don't think he is an all-star.
Okay.
I think he is the CJ McCollum to the Damian Lillard.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He is the second guy, and that's okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the guy, and he's not the guy. He doesn't have to be an all-star. I feel like he is an all-star caliber player. I think he should be in the conversation of getting snubbed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If Jalen Williams didn't get added as an all-star and they were like, "Ooh, man, Jalen Williams kind of deserved to be an all-star." That's cool. The problem is I usually look at the all-star list as for the guys who got snubbed, you kind of look at certain people and you go, "Well, who could they really replace?"
Mhm.
the fact that I can look at some of these players and look outright and go, boom, Jalen Williams, you're out of here.
Hmm.
You're out of here. Get out of there. Put Kyrie Irving. Put De'Aaron Fox. Put Sabonis.
Yeah, man. I totally get it. I totally get
I
it. But do you
love Jalen Williams.
think that it's because certain names have certain gravity to them? They have certain pull to them, right? So it's like if I hear Kyrie Irving, right?
Mhm.
That's Kyrie. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I hear Sabonis. Sabonis has solidified his name with the Kings, right? I hear Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Book is Book. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? These are guys with gravity to their names. You say their names and you're like, ooh, like, yeah, like he is that guy. Jalen Williams doesn't get that because he plays with Shea, because I think he's just an over like one of those players who like you just kind of like forget about him somehow,
Mm.
but he still does his thing. And so like I do 100% see like the CJ Dame comparison, but to me, I think it could be like he's just one of those overlooked players, and it could be like it
Mhm.
could be a Tatum Brown.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It could
Hmm.
be a 1-2 punch.
Hmm.
And I really do believe that that is Jalen Williams, and I think that Jalen Williams is overlooked. And I will give you your respect, Jalen Williams, because every time I watch you,
Impressive.
especially against my Knicks, you are. If it's not Shea, it's you, bro. Okay, Jalen Williams, I'm gonna give you your flowers, bro.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Couple more. Some understandable stubs for me were Luca and Paula.
Okay.
I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I was okay with that.
Injuries.
Luca is obviously an all-star, but injuries wise, you can't really put him there this season. I get it. I understand. I'm okay with that. Some non-negotiables that should have been all-stars. John Morant, Norman Powell.
Mm.
Norman Powell. If we're gonna talk about some of the guys that were kind of undervalued,
Yeah.
Norman
Norman
Powell
Powell, yeah,
has
man.
been on a tear this
Yes,
year
he has,
and
man.
deserved the All-Star nod.
100%, yeah.
Ja is Ja. I
Mhm.
think having Ja in the All-Star game would be phenomenal. I do think he has been kind of in and out due to injuries.
I think the
So
politics play a part as
yeah,
well.
yes, with Ja, he
Mm.
just can't seem to, just hoop.
Stay out of
Just hoop,
just
yeah.
stay out of trouble, man. Yep.
Craziest snub for me, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, yes, sir. Tyrese Maxey, man.
Do you understand the level of BS that this man has had to deal with?
Yeah.
Paul George,
Yep.
he's had to deal with Joel Embiid. He's had to deal with
Ben Simmons.
all of that
Mhm.
this year.
Mhm.
And yet still they're winning a okay amount of games. They're not really too impressive, but they're winning an okay amount of games, and he has been playing out of his mind. I mean, they just beat us. They just beat our Lakers.
Mhm.
They just beat my Lakers the other day
Mhm.
with everyone out except for Maxi. Um, I don't, and he also has the All Star respect. They put Bronny James on him in that game. They put Bronny James in the game, and they had him guard Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey went off for about 12 straight points,
Mhm.
cooked him. That's me as an All Star going. You just put a rookie on me?
Mhm.
What? You just put this dude on me?
Mhm.
Having Tyrese Maxey not be selected to the All Star game is criminal.
100%, man.
Criminal.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of these players get selected as replacements. But some of this is nuts, man.
Yeah.
Some of these guys not getting the respect they deserve is absolutely insane.
Mhm. Wholeheartedly, man.
What do you think about Maxey?
I think Tyrese Maxey is an incredible player. What he did in the playoffs last season, I really saw him blossom. Like he got named to the All Star team last year, and I was like, okay, yeah, I
Mhm.
get it. But I wasn't really like, oh yeah. But like this year, there's no way
Yep.
he shouldn't be on that team. Tyrese Maxey is the heartbeat of the Sixers right now, and I really hope that they put something around him while he's in his prime, because if not, that man is gonna have to go somewhere where they respect him. Uh, but yeah, as far as All Star, no reason for him to not be on that list,
Yeah,
man.
it's insane, man. It's insane. Some of these guys were absolutely insane. Sengun.
Sengun, yeah.
Sengun was another name that I looked at on the West with some question.
Mm,
Um, I like Sengun.
mm,
He's a great player, and the Rockets are winning. Is he Sabonis
right.
though? Like some of these guys, I kind of was like, I get it, but I don't get it. That's how I feel about Jalen Williams. Is I get it, but I
Yeah.
don't get
It
it.
it almost seems
Uh,
like the league is starting to trend towards winning more than like who's actually deserving. And it's
yeah.
like a little it's becoming a little bit too biased. Um because yeah, I think Sengun is up there. Don't get me wrong, no disrespect to Sengun.
Mhm,
He's a fantastic center. However, it's just like that's who we're putting in over
mhm. Yeah,
Sabonis?
over
Like,
Sabonis.
but it's because I mean, who has the better record?
That's
You know
true.
what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
mean
So
that's
it
true.
seems like it's like, oh,
Mhm.
because you're because you're not winning, Lamelo, you don't get to be in here.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to me. That's
Mhm.
insane.
This is where I want that one-on-one tournament.
Yeah,
That's where I would like it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what
An
they should
All-Star
do.
Snubs
That's
tournament,
well, maybe that's what they should do is they should get
that'd be
all the
crazy.
reserves in a pool.
Mhm.
They should like name X amount of all-star reserves, have them play for it. One-on-one tournament for the last like two spots on the all-star game. They should get the snubs and have them do a one-on-one tournament for the
That'd be
last two.
fire.
Yeah.
That'd be fire.
Yeah, that would bring in some ratings. I
Mhm.
think so.
For
I'd watch
sure.
it.
Me too.
Uh,
All right, everybody. Well, that's our episode. We appreciate you watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
peace.
Peace.